You don't need to go to Niagara Falls when you can eat some Brian balls.
What's going on, NASCAR Diecast collectors and Diecast reviewers on YouTube? This is Ridgeway right here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Diecast News. I know it's been a good month since I uploaded the last video for you guys, but I do have my good reasons like always. But I do want to say, you know, in further advance, I was going to make a PA announcement about this, but I long to show you guys that I am alive and still breathing and doing what I can to give you guys the newly released NASCAR Diecast and everything else as NASCAR Diecast that's out there. And this is going to be a two-part video, guys. So part one is going to cover, you know, a good. We're basically going to be splitting this Diecast news episode in half, since we got a lot of content to be talking about. But it's all going to include all your three new categories, your three traditional categories, which are your newly released diecast from our good friends at Plan B Sales, KC Diecast, and Lester's Diecast. We also got the newest pre-orders as well for 2017 and 2018, and of course cancellations. You gotta love cancellations. We also got to do we got another promo to be talking about as well, and we also got some NASCAR Authentics news for Wave 9. So we're gonna get on to this latest information and more as the NASCAR Diecast news starts right now. But before we do that, guys, we're gonna take a look back at the last episode of the NASCAR Diecast news with its best-selling diecast and its least-selling diecast from NASCAR Diecast News 184. Alright, buddy, welcome to the NASCAR Diecast News. I'm your host, Brian LaFleur Jr., and we're going to start things off with the newly released diecast from our good friends at Plan B Sales, KC Diecast, and Lester's Diecast. And like always, guys, we're going to start off with the 164s, and we're going to work our way down to the 124s. So we got 11 new diecasts to be talking about for this Part 1 episode. Feel free to tune in for Part 2, as I will be covering the rest of the newly released diecast and all the other pre-orders, cancellations, and more NASCAR Authentics news. Something you guys don't want to miss, and we'll get into that in the next episode. But let's go ahead and start with the newly released diecast, and the first one up is Brad Keselowski's number 2 Miller Lite Salutes car, and this is a pretty cool looking car, especially if you're a big patriotic fan. As you guys know, Brad Keselowski loves to celebrate with the American flag every time he does his burnouts, and I think that's a cool way to, you know, represent, you know, how patriotic he is, especially in a very patriotic sport like NASCAR. So if you're a Brad fan, this car I would recommend getting, because even though it's very basic, you gotta love the American flag that's on that car. It just looks fantastic. Next one up, we got Kevin Harvick's number 4 Busch Beer Donson throwback car, which is a Donson throwback to a company throwback. So yeah, this is the first time that Busch is doing this, guys. I think they're going to their 1980s look, if I'm not mistaken. So you know, I think it's a better company throwback, unlike the Budweiser 2015 car that we had, which was all gold. Some people did like this car, but I do like this company throwback a lot more. I still say the, I don't know, I think this year's looks pretty cool. It definitely looks very similar to last year's car, but slight differences to it. I mean, I guess you could still call this a Cale Yarborough paint scheme, but it's technically a company throwback, but still a pretty cool looking car. I would recommend getting it for any Harvick fans. This car is really cool, especially for any William Byron fans out there. You guys know what he accomplished for this season, but we'll be talking about that in the next episode of the NASCAR Diecast News. It is William Byron and his number 9 Exalta Ameristar Chevrolet Camaro for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And what's really cool about this car is that not only it is his Exalta car that he's won multiple races with this season, especially at Iowa and Daytona, which also the 164 race wins will be they are still available for pre-order, but they have made MOQ and they will be made, so looking forward to that. I think that's gonna be would be cool if Lionel made a set for all those cars, but still really cool regardless. But gotta love the neon yellow number 9 that we got right there. And what's really cool that I think a lot of people will get this car is that it has 2 special finishes on it. You guys know how all the Hendrick cars have that sparkle metallic finish? Well, where the black is, that is where the sparkle metallic finish is. So I'm just gonna say metallic or sparkle, whatever you want to call it. It's technically called metallic finish, so I'm gonna be very precise. I think the gray is it's like a slight matte finish, kind of like how my Kyle Larson NASCAR Authentics Target car was. So but feel free to look at this diecast review from Race Day 2011. You guys know what he is, so I don't even have to provide you guys a link or in the description, because you guys know he reviews every single 2017 diecast. So go ahead and give that, go ahead and give my good friend Race Day 2011 a good shout outs, and check his channel out, and he can give you guys all the inside looks of all the 2017 diecasts that have been released for diecast reviews. But back to the car, really nice looking car. I would recommend for any buyer fans out there. Now this car I would recommend skipping because it's very similar to other Denny Hamlin cars I've got for this year. It is the Denny Hamlin FedEx ground car, and it is very similar. I mean, very, very similar to his Express car. These cars, I'm not a big fan of. I wish they had the paint scheme like they did a couple years ago when each different variety in FedEx had a sponsor, not sponsor, a different color. You had orange for the Express, like a pink or magenta or red for Fright. You had green for ground, and blue for office. FedEx decided, hey, we're gonna make this all one paint scheme, and they incorporated it last year, at the end of last year, and they did it all throughout this year, and they're still doing it. Not a big fan of it. I think it's a waste, to be honest. I mean, there's not too much of a difference of this car. This is a car I would recommend skipping, unless you're a Denny Hamlin fan, but even if you're a Hamlin fan, I think it's just taking up too much space, because the only difference on this car is just where it says ground. So yeah, I don't recommend getting this car. The next car are really cool, especially if you're Joey Logano fans. We got 2 diecasts to show you guys. We got his Xfinity car. Oh boy, this should be good. But in reality though, guys, this is a really cool looking car. It is his PBG paints car that he first drove, I believe, at Texas, which Joey Logano still has not won at Texas in the Xfinity Series. So I'm not mistaken. I mean, I'm getting my sources from Lionel Racing. They could be wrong, but but yeah, this car I really do like. You know, PBG, they are a very loyal sponsor for Team Penske. As you guys know me, I am a huge Team Penske fan, especially in the Verizon IndyCar series, along with my, my other partner, Race Day 2011, my good best friend. He's a Badger fan as well, and a hardcore Team Penske fan. So I'm sure he's gonna recommend getting this car if you guys see this review on this car. But I really do like the blend of colors on this car. It looks very nice. It's something different that Team Penske needed, and I'm hoping this car makes a return. I really hope. If not, maybe since they're bringing back the 12 in the Cup Series, I would like to see Ryan Blaney have this paint scheme. Would be really nice, but recommend getting this car. Another car I would recommend is another Joey Logano car, and it it is his, I can't even talk right now, his Duralast GT Ford Fusion car that he drove at the first Martinsville race for this year. So very different paint scheme, I would say. It's got a modern look to it. If you guys know how Penske, you know, always has kept that design, that traditional striped Penske design since 2011. This looks like a modernized version of it, and I really do like that. I mean, I'm hoping they can incorporate this paint scheme into the original cars. I know they aren't because we already seen the renders for the 2018 Team Penske cars and still look the same, but I do like this car a lot. I mean, the black goes well with the faded gray in the background with the checker flag. I really like that. It's a nice touch, and even the green looks very nice on this car. Definitely would recommend getting this car. Definitely, if you want a bright Joey Logano car that isn't the Auto Trader car or the Pennzoil car, especially if you're a big fan of green, I would recommend getting this car. It would look nice with the Breck as also Fitzgerald card. Oh wait, that car was canceled in the 64. Keep that car in mind though. Keep that car in mind later in this episode. We also got to Corey LaJoie's number 83 Bubba Burger Toyota Camry, and this car is really cool. I mean, I mean, I have never tried a Bubba Burger, but I'm sure they're good. I mean, this car definitely reminds me of a BK racing car indeed. I mean, if only this car was the Burger King car, but still a pretty cool looking car, very basic, but I do like the flames on this, so very nice touch right there. I believe he drove this car at Auto Club, if I'm not mistaken, so yeah, really bland looking car, but I don't know, it really does taste the cake, even though that's a burger car I'm talking about. And the last 164 we're going to be talking about, it is another Corey LaJoie diecast, and it is his, I think it's his, I don't know how you pronounce this, it's either JAS or JAS expedited trucking car that he drove at Las Vegas. So yeah, this paint scheme has been pretty similar to last year's with Matt DiBenedetto's. I think they kept this paint scheme like they did from last year, but glad to see this car finally made it in the diecast form. So yeah, I recommend getting this. I'm sure Dave Valan's gonna like this car because it is purple. So shout out to another one of my good buddies, Dave Valan on YouTube. You guys know who he is. You know, he's popular just like me in Race Day 2011. We're like the freaking Three Stooges when we're together. God, I miss hanging out with those guys. But anyways, guys, that wraps up on your 164 diecast, and we're going to go on to the 124 diecast, and the only one we're going to be talking about is exclusive to the 124 scale, and it is another Rowdy Busch car, guys. You know, Kyle Busch has been a pretty hot, you know, he's all, you know, the Rowdy Busch, gotta love him. But would you guys like to have a Rowdy car? Like literally a Rowdy Busch car? Well, look no further, guys, because we got the Kyle Busch number 18 Rowdy NOS Energy Drink car. That's now in stock only at his official website, which I will post the link in the description. It's the same link that you can get his the Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks as well, that I probably posted on the last few episodes of the NASCAR Diecast News. So yeah, really cool looking paint scheme, even though it's not going to, it looks like it has a matte finish to it, if I'm not mistaken. It is on the gold series because it is an Xfinity mold, and it is on a base as well. So, but if you're a hardcore Rowdy Busch fan, I would recommend getting this car. And tell me in the guys' description if you guys ever had this drink before. I'm sure it does. I mean, is it just as fiery and fierce like Kyle Busch, or is it actually, I don't know, like a sweet carbonated beverage like every other energy drink is? So, but anyways, back to the car. Pretty cool looking car. I would recommend getting this car if you're a Kyle Busch fan. But anyways, that wraps up on your diecast, folks. All right, everybody, now we're going to get on to the pre-orders, and we're going to be talking only about the race win cars that were released before Homestead, as the other Homestead cars, which I'll be talking about, will be on the next episode of the NASCAR Diecast News, which shouldn't be too far, so tune in for part 2. I know I got to keep you guys reminding that, but I'm sure you guys will be like, oh, I missed out on some stuff. But there's a reason why I split this up into 2 parts, guys. So, sorry for the inconvenience. But anyways, we're going to get back to your pre-orders. And the first one up is going to be another first-time Xfinity winner, guys. It happened with William Byron for this year. Then it happened with Alex Bowman, who are, ironically, both come into the Cup Series for next year in Hendrick Motorsports. This guy isn't, but he is rising up through the ranks. And it is none other than Christopher Bell in his number 18 JPL.com car that he won at Kansas. And this was also his first Xfinity win, like I just mentioned, with William Byron and Alex Bowman. So a really cool diecast, especially to someone who just won the Camping World Truck Series. Spoiler alert. not really a spoiler. I mean, heck, we're at the off season now, guys. You guys should know who's your champions by now. But yeah, this kid definitely has a bright future, especially, you know, starting off as a dirt racer and then moving his way up in the NASCAR ranks. This guy's gonna be quite the threat for next year for the Xfinity Series Championship. Too early to tell, but after the performance he had for the Camp World Truck Series, this guy is hot to watch. But anyways, back to his Kansas win car. Really cool looking car. I'm hoping this car makes it in the pre-order list, and this is actually the first Joe Gibbs race car that we got produced, or that is hoping to be produced. It's actually that we actually got pre-ordered, because most of the most of the Kyle Busch cars or the Joe Gibbs racing cars have been mostly at the Kyle Busch store, so it's cool to see that this car is actually at a Lionel Racing store for once on pre-order. So pretty cool right there. And next up, we got your Xfinity Series champion for this year, guys, William Byron, and his number 9 Liberty University Phoenix race win car. Yes, he did win that race, which locked him into the championship round, which he ended up winning the championship as well. So pretty cool right there for William Byron. Another bright future for this kid, as he's gonna be taking on the 24 for next year. But we'll be talking about him much more on the next episode of the NASCAR Diecast News. But his Phoenix car is available for pre-order, and it's also going to be in the autographed version, so pretty cool right there. It's not going to be in both scales though, because I think Lionel is kind of putting their foot down on how many Byron cars we need for this year. But we got a good amount though, so not really disappointed. This one has, ironically, a lot of people are thinking, I think this car's been up for a while, but it hasn't. It was only offered in the Elite version, and now it's finally offered in the ARC version. Here is the controversial Kyle Busch and his number 18 M&M's Halloween Toyota Camry that he ended up ironically winning at Martinsville race. So yeah, you guys know that was a crazy race. I mean, I don't really have to go into details because you guys know about that. I mean, yeah, NASCAR and their feuds, gotta love it. But yeah, I mean, mixed feelings about that race. I mean, it was exciting regardless though. Would I recommend getting this car? Not really, but it is a different, it's definitely different for any Kyle Busch fans out there who want to get a different race win. That's not his that's not his M&M's caramel car, because he's been winning in that car so many times for this year. So glad to see Lionel finally put this on the pre-order list. That's cool for any Kyle Busch fans out there. So there you goes, guys, right there. Got some variety for this year. Next one up is another one of your championship contenders who locked himself to the championship round. We got Kevin Harvick in his number 4. Yeah, I'm gonna be full every time I do this diecast news video. Tying up my words, gotta love it, guys. Gotta have fun with it. If you can't blame them, join them. But anyways, guys, back to the Mobile 1 car, guys. He did won this car at Sonoma, and now he's won it at the Texas race, and that is the only 2 wins that we got for Kevin Harvick for this year. But cool to see that he was making it, that he made it into the playoffs all the way to the final round. And this race right here was no exception, especially since he passed your guys' champion, Mark Truex Jr. at this race. So that was pretty surprising, because you guys know how dominant the 78 team has been for this year. But we'll be talking about him pretty soon. But yeah, really cool looking car. Not as cool as a Sonoma race win car, but I would recommend getting this. But it is available for pre-order, guys, and we'll see if it makes the MOQ. Now this one I think is really going to be the worth waiting for, and I wish this car was made in both scales. Maybe Lionel will do it, maybe they'll put it in the NASCAR Authentics line. But it's Matt Kenseth, guys. He won the Phoenix race, and it was one hell of a surprising race. I know a lot of Chase Elliott fans probably won't like this car, and I have a feeling it might get canceled because of all the salty Chase Elliott fans. But regardless or not, if you're a Chase Elliott fan or not, you gotta admit, you cannot be disappointed with Matt Kenseth winning in possibly his second to last race, which was at Phoenix. So, and it also has to be, I mean, it's confirmed now, this is Matt Kenseth's final win in NASCAR, since he's not going to be in NASCAR, period, for next year. So he's joining the other guys who have completely disappeared from NASCAR, like Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, and etc. But, Mark Martin as well. But, yeah, very ironic. And ironically, all of them are former Roush Fenway drivers. Ain't that ironic right there? Well, fun fact of the day for this episode. Yeah, I mean, nothing really much to say about this, but cool to see that we're actually getting a Circle K diecast. Hopefully it will make MOQ, but I'm looking forward to that. And speaking of MOQ, guys, these cards did not make MOQ, which means we're going on to the cancellations, guys. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. We also got 5 new cancellations to be talking about. And one of them is a 2018 card, 3 of them are 2017s, and one it is a classic card. And we're going to start off with the classic card, guys. You guys probably wonder what it is, but it is Mark Martin's number 6 Valvoline Hall of Honor Ford Taurus that he drove in 1998. This car was canceled in the 124 ARC scale, so very unfortunate right there. I know this car is very iconic for any you know, 90s fans out there who are hardcore Mark Martin's fans. You gotta admit, this car looks really cool, but I guess it was pretty underrated since Mark Martin hasn't been around in the sport for a while, and I wouldn't say people lost interest, but he just kind of like just disappeared out of nowhere. Not as bad as Carl Edwards or Matt Kenseth, but or Greg Biffle. But yeah, very disappointing seeing this car getting canceled. Kind of a missed opportunity for Lionel to getting this car not made. But people are smoking, and it's not going to make the MOQ list. Speaking of a disappointing car that's not going to be the MOQ list, you guys are about to lose your britches because this car really is. Oh man, I don't know what to say. But it is Brad Keselowski's number 2 Miller Lite Cheers to Dale car that he that he won at the Talladega race. So this was canceled in 164 scale only, and it was offered in most scales. I'm pretty disappointed in that, guys. You guys know I love 164 race wins, and seeing this car surprisingly getting canceled, and it's also, I guess you could say it's a somewhat tribute to Dale Jr. because this paint scheme, you guys know, if you guys watch the Nationwide Series from 2008, you guys will know how Brad Keselowski got his career started, or it was like the building blocks toward his career once he moved up with Team Penske and all that. But yeah, pretty disappointed seeing this car getting canceled. I really wanted to see this. I know that there was going to be. I am aware that they were not going to have the playoff. Excuse me. There's the burp of the video right there. Make that too. All right, I'm gonna have to edit these out soon, or maybe I won't. That's the beauty of this episode, guys. But yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in this. I'm sure you guys are, but feel free to tell me in the comments what you guys think of that. That's just pretty disappointing in my opinion. Next one up is going to be another Ty Majeski car, and it is his number 60 Bit Honey car, canceled in both scales. Well, that's pretty unfortunate since this is actually the same paint scheme that Chris Buescher drove a couple years ago. But, however, though, I do got some good news, guys, for any Ty Majeski fans, and I forgot to point this out on my last episode of the NASCAR Diecast News. Lionel has upholded their cancellation for the Ty Majeski car, and not only it's going to be in the NASCAR Authentics form for the 164 scale, but it is actually going to be made in the 164 scale and the 124 scale, as Lionel provided some photos of the Ty Majeski prototype, which I guess I'll show you guys right here. So pretty cool right there. But yeah, I know it's kind of odd of me showing this car, but there is hope for some Ty Majeski cars after all. So we're getting his iRacing car, that's cool, but we're losing his Bit Honey car, so not too much of a big loss, but still kind of disappointing if anybody out there who still wants a Bit Honey car. But I don't know, maybe 3rd time's a charm for next year. I hope so. Probably not. But the next two are the last two guys for the cancellations are going to be 124 Elite versions only, and it is your champion guys, Mark Truex Jr. and his auto owner's insurance car. His Charlotte race win car has been canceled, only in the Elite version. So the 124 ARC version is still available for pre-order. You're just losing a little more detail, but still kind of disappointing though, because I know a lot of hardcore Elite collectors want to collect this diecast, especially for any Truex fans out there like myself. But yeah, pretty disappointing right there. And the last one, guys, it is your first 2018 cancellation. Guys are wondering what it is. Well, you guys know how I brought out about those useless Denny Hamlin cars? Well, the people have spoken and agreed with me. For the 124 Elite version only, we have 3 Denny Hamlin diecasts that have been canceled. Want to know what they are? It is his FedEx Fright, FedEx Ground, and FedEx Office. All 3 of the same cars, mostly the same, only canceled in the 124 Elite version. So that's pretty cool. I guess there's some hope right there after all. So that's going to leave some clean space for any Hamlin fans out there who wanted to get an Elite version. But don't worry though, don't lose any hope. We still got the 164s and the 124 ARC versions as well. But that's mostly all I gotta say about the cancellations, as we're actually going to be going on to the promos, guys. We do got a new promo to be talking about, and this one was a weird one because I think back in June a lot of people were looking at this car, and it was on the shipping reports for a lot I know. A lot of people were like, oh, what's this new car that we got right there? And the car I'm talking about is Ryan Blaney and his number 21 Body Armor Ford Fusion. Now, back to what I've been saying about this car. This was just recently released by Body Armor themselves, and it's a very weird way how you can get this car, guys. The only way you can get this car, well, first they did a giveaway on Twitter, and luckily, I think one of my fans, you guys know him, Mr. Goodlooks1. He's also the one who created the NASCAR Diecast News logo, so shout out to him as well. If you're watching this, Craig, then hey, kudos, man. You are a good fan and a good supporter of the NASCAR Diecast News. But he did got the Body Armor car as well and his autographed. But there is a way you guys get this car, and luckily I was able to do my research thanks to some provided content like Diecast Crazy, a really cool forum site you guys should go ahead and check out. That's where I get most of my information from. That has to do with NASCAR Diecast News and everything else that's NASCAR Diecast that's out there. But the only way you guys get this car, it's not, I guess you could say you can get it by email, but you have to fill out this form. And I'll provide the form in the description if you guys want to get this, but you got to fill it out, and then you got to send it out to this email that I'll put in the description as well. And that's mostly that. So it is a little different, I will admit that. So I don't know, I mean, this car didn't really ran. It was kind of a promotional, it was like a promo car, I guess. I mean, they did announce the sponsorship back in May. Of course, I didn't really pay attention because I was at the it's the month of May. You guys know where I'm at during the month of May. Indy 500 month, wink wink. But yeah, a very weird promo, but I like it though. I mean, if you're a Ryan Blaney fan, with all means, go ahead and get this car. It's a good car. I mean, it is a promo fantasy car because he never actually drove this car for this year. But doubt me if I'm wrong, guys. Maybe he will drive this car again. Well, that doesn't make sense because he's driving with T. Penske. But who knows, guys. But very odd sponsor, but it is a pretty cool promo. So for any guys out there who like promo diecast, I would say get this one a shot if you can, or if you get lucky on eBay, try to get it. I wouldn't go too crazy with it like I did with the Blake Cook car and the Matt Tifft card, but yeah, not too much bad. But that's all I gotta say about this promo, guys, and that's gonna wrap up on the pre-orders, cancellations, and that one promo. Alright, buddy, we're going to our final topic today, and it is actually going to be on NASCAR Authentics related, guys, and it's actually the main topic of this video as well for NASCAR Diecast News 185. I know you guys have been waiting for this. Moment of truth, guys, here is the official reveal and my personal review of NASCAR Authentics 2017 Wave 9. So this wave was just recently released from Lionel Racing. I think it was a couple episodes ago from their weekly YouTube series known as Leaf Fix. You guys know I'm a big fan of that series as well. And Lionel, if you're watching this video, I do support that video series very much. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are joining in on the YouTube diecast community. Really cool you guys provide those content. I just wanted to say that for yeah, our good buddies at Lionel Racing. Gotta love them. But enough of me bragging about Lionel Racing. Wink wink. But yeah, guys, NASCAR Authentics 2017 Wave 9 probably has to be, well, I'm just going to show you guys the picture right here of what the newest wave is. I might have said Wave 7 was my favorite, but I don't know, guys. Wave 9 looks very promising, guys. You see right there, one thing that I'm really happy about this wave, we got the return of not only exclusives, but we have race win exclusives as well. This is something that we really needed after those disappointing exclusive waves that really just been overhauling those shelves like crazy. They're probably, you know, sitting on the shelves as we speak right now, just collecting dust. I'm just bragging because you guys know how irritating that was. But glad to see Lionel's go back to their roots. But we're gonna go ahead and look at all these diecasts, and we do got 9 new diecast, and I believe 3 of them are exclusives. So they were originally DMPs, or actually I think, yeah, I believe 2 of them were DMPs and 1 is actually exclusive. So I guess you could say they're 3 exclusives. And we got 8 NASCARs and 1 NHRA car. So yeah, that's returning. But I guess we're going to start with the NHRA funny card. It is Courtney Force in her Advanced Auto Parts car. Really cool. I mean, I think the only way I would recommend getting this car, if you had the Alex Bowman promo car, I think this car would look very nice. I mean, I hate to compare NHRA and NASCAR, but I don't know, seeing those 2 cars side by side doesn't really sound like a bad idea. So also, if you're a big fan of Courtney Force as well, then I would recommend getting this as well, or if you're a fan of the Force family anywhere else. But definitely different. I mean, it looks like it might have that matte finish to it, but then again, I don't really collect that much NHRA diecast. Actually, I have not collected a single one yet. and I do not plan to anytime soon. After all, this is NASCAR Authentics Wave, not an NHRA Authentics Wave. But that's just my 2 cents on it. But gotta love the variety, eh? Lionel Racing, gotta love it. But this one right here, the next one up, we got our first exclusive for this wave, guys, and it is actually a car that was originally DMP'd, and it is Brad Keselowski's number 2 Fitzgerald Glider Kits car. And he, like I just said, this car was canceled in the 164 scale, and it was only available in the 124 version. Smart move by Lionel. Really cool to have a green car that we have in this wave. We haven't had a green car yet, especially something that's very bright. So if you're looking for something that brightens up your collection, and if you're a Keselowski fan, then I'm recommending this car. I think this car might look very well with the Chase Elliott Hooters car, if you guys know what I'm talking about, at Talladega. Because those 2 cars ran in Talladega, that's why I'm saying. But yeah, pretty cool looking car. Next one up, we got yet another John throwback car, and it is actually Clint Boyer, our second Clint Boyer car that we got for this year. And it is his Carolina Ford Dealers John's throwback car, which is a Mark Marta throwback. So pretty cool looking car. I know I said before, I think on the live stream episode, that I didn't really like this car and I didn't really think it was a throwback. Well, I'm correcting myself, and it actually is a throwback. So take that to myself from the live episode. So you guys know me, I love roasting myself. Gotta have fun with these episodes. But a really cool looking diecast. I would recommend getting it, especially if you're trying to collect all the John's throwbacks for this year. This one is a great addition. This one I'm really excited about. I didn't know they were going to make this because the 124 version hasn't even been out yet, which is even sad. I would be damned if actually this car makes it before the 124 car, which is ironic because most of the Daytona cars should be out by now. But it is Ryan Reed's 2017 Daytona Xfinity Win raced version. This car rocks. Everything I like with this car is cool. I mean, we get an Xfinity car, I guess you could say a Roush Fenway Racing driver that we've only had one diecast release for him for this year for NASCAR Authentics, and that was all the way back at at Wave 1 with the Lily Bees Dawn's throwback car from 2016. So another Ryan Reed car. This car wasn't even made in 164 scale to begin with, so to have this exclusive car, I'm glad Lionel's doing this. Hopefully we can see more of these. We've been waiting for this for quite a while. I think we haven't had a race win car that's been exclusive for the 164 since I think Wave 11, which ironically was a Chase Elliott car, which was the Daytona winner from last year in the Xfinity Series. So if you guys have that car, maybe you better start your Daytona collection, because this car I think is going to sell like crazy. Great addition for Wave 9. Very, very impressive. We also got Joey Logano's number 22 Pennzoil car, also known as the car that messed with Kyle Busch at that crazy Las Vegas race. By the way, Truex won that race as well. I just had to point that out there. But yeah, talk about a hardcore Mark Truex Jr. fan right here. But back to the Pennzoil car. I'm glad that it's actually a different car for once. I'm glad it's not the Shell Pennzoil car. And I'm glad it wasn't the Auto Trader car as well, because we already got that for Brad Keselowski early this year. Same with the Shell car. So yeah, I would probably recommend getting this car along with the Fitzgerald car. I think that's a cool set to get. Very bright as well. I know the paint scheme is very similar to this year's, to last year's as well, but we haven't had this in the NASCAR Authentics wave yet. So very smart for Lionel for doing that. If you got 4 more to talk about, we got another DMP car that's going to be exclusive for this wave, and it's Kevin Harvick's Xfinity car, his Textron number 41 off-road car that he drove, I believe, at the Atlanta race. So we got another Kevin Harvick Xfinity car. Similar. This is our second time we got a Harvick Xfinity car. We had the other DMP'd Hunt Brothers car from Wave 4 for this year. So if you guys already have that car, I'm sure this car is going to look great on the wall together with that. That's probably where we're going to put mine as well. But yeah, really, really cool looking car. I mean, not as too bright and colorful as the Hunt Brothers car. But I don't know, I feel like this car might be just as hard to find as it is with the other 2 exclusives. So we're recommending this if you had a hard time finding the Hunt Brothers car. We also got Jimmy Johnson's Lowe's Patriotic car, so glad we finally got that car released. I know we had his Patriotic car released in the bonus wave throughout late last year, early this year, which that was a weird time, the bonus waves. Do I have a feeling we're going to have those again? Ooh, call me psychic. I feel like we might, though. Well, who knows? Maybe Lionel will clean up that act for this year. who am I kidding? This is Lionel Racing we're talking about. Anyways, guys, yeah, back to the patriotic car. Do like this car a lot. It's a little different than last year's. The blue's a lot more darker, and I think it's going to look great. I think all we're just missing now is the Chase Elliott Napa patriotic car, because we did have the Dale Jr.'s nationwide patriotic car released from Wave 7. So yeah, gotta get those patriotic cars rolling, guys. Those cars look really cool, especially if you're a big patriotic fan like myself. Who doesn't love this country after all? And the last two, what do you guys know? It's Dale Jr. diecast. I mean, what else were you thinking? Chase Elliott, William Byron? No, it's Dale Jr. We got his Exalta Ducks Unlimited car that he drove at the Bristol race, so pretty cool right there. If you're a big fan of, you know, hunting and camouflage and maybe ducks as well, we're recommending this car. And we also got the long-awaited Mountain Dew USA car. I guess I'm psychic after all, because I had a feeling this car was going to make it in the NASCAR Authentics wave very soon, and it did. God almighty, this car is a beauty. Easily one of my top 5 favorites for this year. It looks like, I guess you could say this could be our first ever special finish car in NASCAR Authentics, even though that's kind of redundant because that's actually how the paint scheme was. But man, gotta love that chrome blue, guys. Really cool. Definitely I'm looking forward to review that car. And man, just overall, what an impressive wave. I'm glad to see Lionel's going back to their roots. Hopefully, you know, for wave 10, if we're gonna have a wave 10 like we did last year, hopefully they're, you know, going to keep this rate. I mean, this is the kind of waves that we need right there. We don't need any more of those exclusive waves. I mean, if they're going to make exclusive waves again, make them worth it, because this right here feels like a true exclusive wave, even though it's not really exclusive. But man, I'm saying exclusive way too much. Maybe I'm just so excited because we got exclusive diecast for once. Man, you guys know I'm a sucker for those. But that's mostly all I got to say about Wave 8, guys. Feel free to tell me below in the comments what you guys think about this wave for NASCAR Authentics. I'm always to hear you guys' opinions on that. But that's also going to wrap up this part 1 episode of the NASCAR Diecast News. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, guys, please give it a good comment, like. If you guys have not already, I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to my channel for any more of the latest NASCAR Diecast news and many more NASCAR Diecast news to come, as I just literally tongue-tied myself right there. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and thanks for sticking with me, and hopefully we're going to get back to part 2 very soon. It should be uploaded very closely to this video, so stay tuned for that, and I will catch you guys later.